Well, take a look at this. TikTok is said to prepare a US specific app amid potential ownership change. More specifically, TikTok is developing a separate version of its social media app for the US market in anticipation of a possible sale to American investors. This just came out just a couple hours ago, and I just made a video on this just yesterday. Trump says TikTok is ready to sell, but the CCP will not give up TikTok. That's my opinion, and I'm standing by it. I don't think China's going to give up TikTok. I mean, if they give up the current version of TikTok, they're going to do exactly what this article just came out and said that TikTok is allegedly planning on doing. So I'm going to get into it here. So the information reported cites sources familiar with the matter. I don't think that they actually say exactly who the sources are. But anyway, the news follows comments from President Donald Trump, who said late last week that talks with China regarding TikTok's future are expected to resume early this week. So Trump indicated that the U.S. is close to securing an agreement over the short video platform's U.S. operations. TikTok's new version of the app is reportedly slated for release in the U.S. app stores on September the 5th. TikTok's new version of the app. Now, that just has me wondering if ByteDance, who owns TikTok, and President Trump, and really, the federal government, basically, they want ByteDance to relinquish TikTok to an American company because they basically don't want ByteDance and by proxy the Chinese government spying on American citizens and really having control over an algorithm that the majority of the US population taps into, at least on a monthly basis, because half the country has a TikTok account. In fact, I think it's a little bit more than half the country actually has a TikTok account, and almost half the country uses TikTok at a minimum on a monthly basis. So, US government, they don't want them to have that much control or that much power really over the US citizen, and I absolutely agree. I couldn't agree more. I think them banning TikTok across the board would do nothing but good for the country, not just for sharing information and essentially spying on American citizens, but also just the fact that TikTok they platform, they use their algorithm to elevate these ridiculous videos and these trends and these challenges that really don't do anything in any positive way at all. I honestly I don't think that there's really been anything TikTok's done that's been a driving force for good in any way. I mean, what thing can you point to TikTok that the platform has done that's made any element of our society generally better? I don't think there's anything. I think everything that TikTok's done has only made our society worse. I think it's a social media platform that is cancerous. It's a tumor that's only making our society way worse. It's motivating teenagers and younger people to do things that are either self-destructive or destructive towards society, or just if they don't create their own TikTok videos, they just sit on their phone all day and they just develop TikTok brain. They just watch 2-minute videos, 5-minute videos, just on and on and on. And TikTok just throws the next random video that it thinks that they're gonna like, and just round they go. Wheels on the bus go round and round, and there's really no end. It's just constant watching, just content, which for the most part is more or less brain dead content, really. I mean, you're not getting much of anything when you're watching TikTok videos other than people just acting goofy, acting stupid, pulling pranks, doing these ridiculous TikTok challenges like eating freaking Tide Pods and whatever the hell else that they're doing. But anyway, so TikTok's new version of the app, September 5th is when they're expecting to release it. Users would eventually need to download this updated app to maintain access to the platform through the current, or though the current version is expected to function through March of 2026. That timeline remains subject to change because we don't know who's buying it, if anybody's going to buy it. I mean, look, I don't think ByteDance is going to sell to any American company, and if they do, they're only going to sell to an American company because they have been developing TikTok 2.0 in the background for probably years at this point. Probably 2 years, 3 years, I don't even know how long. But I bet for a long time that ByteDance, they've been secretly developing an even better version of TikTok, which they're going to release to the world after the US buys TikTok. That's just my personal opinion. Otherwise, I don't think the CCP would even allow ByteDance to sell. And I'm sure that the CCP does have the ability to pull those strings. And outright deny ByteDance's ability to even sell it in the first place. I mean, I think they have that power because ByteDance, it's a Chinese company, and every company in China, I'm sure they have to answer to the CCP in some way, shape, or form. At the end of the day, China, it is a communist country. So the CCP kind of reigns supreme in China. So anyway, in July, Trump extended the deadline for ByteDance, TikTok's China based parent company, to divest its U.S. assets by September 17th. A deal to spin off TikTok's U.S. business into a new majority American owned entity has been under discussion earlier this year. However, those negotiations stalled after Beijing signaled its disapproval following Trump's imposition of steep tariffs on Chinese exports. Well, that just goes to show that the CCP has full control over whether or not if TikTok will fall into, American hands, or at least the majority of the company, because Beijing said that they didn't approve what America was doing earlier in the year during the whole tariff situation. So therefore, nope, you can't buy TikTok. But anyway, the president noted that any TikTok agreement would likely require China's sign off. Of course it will. TikTok hasn't yet publicly commented on reports of the app's planned US relaunch. Now, I mean, I'm sure China's at least entertaining the idea of TikTok being sold. Otherwise, they would have just put their foot down initially and said, "No, we're not selling it." I mean, yeah, go ahead and ban it. You could ban it. We don't care. Either way, we're not going to sell you TikTok. But if they come out with another app, and if they make it very easy for American TikTok users to just integrate over to this new app seamlessly, then, I mean, yeah, why wouldn't they just go ahead and sell it? I mean, because people are going to migrate to whichever one of those two that are going to be the most fun, the most enjoyable, the most addicting. And it's probably going to be whatever ByteDance is already working on as an upgrade to TikTok. Now, legally speaking, I'm not so sure if that's really going to hold up. I mean, I would think maybe an American court would say, look, if you're essentially going to take all the intellectual property that you use to develop TikTok, and now you're going to create this TikTok 2.0 app, which you're going to call, I don't know, like Tit Tat or something. I don't know. Like they would call it something completely different for copyright reasons or intellectual property reasons or whatever. But I mean, China, that's what they do. They take intellectual property, they take other people's hard work, and they essentially reverse engineer whatever it is that they're looking to develop, and then they just simply develop it. It's like Huawei. They I'm sure took a lot of Apple's intellectual property and they created their own version of the iPhone. They just called it a Huawei instead. And they're probably going to try at least to do the same thing with TikTok if they haven't done it already, and I'm sure they have. They're just going to end up coming up with another app that's going to be more addictive than TikTok. But in the US courts, they might say, look, you can't launch this new upgraded version of TikTok. It's too much like TikTok. You already sold TikTok. So therefore, all of this, this new company, this new application you came out with, that belongs to the company that you just sold TikTok to because it's too similar. I mean, they might come up with that conclusion, but what if China just says, no, we're not selling it to you. Sorry. I mean, what are we going to do about it? I mean, just the diplomatic relations that we're tied up with China. I mean, I wouldn't really expect it to go up very far. I'm sure they would still allow that new upgraded version of TikTok to still continue to operate in the US, at least for the foreseeable future. They might eventually shut it down. But that's if this article is even correct, if it's really going to happen. If it's true or if it's not true, I don't know for sure. But all I know is, in my opinion, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, they have an immense amount of power just through the ability of having TikTok just by itself. Just because there are so many millions and millions of Americans who use TikTok. And China, of course, they want to erode away Western society because China wants to be the world superpower. They want to be number one. They want to be the ones who are large and in charge. America, you've had your turn. Now it's China's turn to run the world and to be, the leaders in the entire planet, the whole shebang. That's what they want. And one way to get there is by ruining American society in any way they possibly can. And I think TikTok is definitely doing that. It may not be happening overnight, but it's definitely a lot more hurtful for everyday Americans than helpful, in my opinion. If nothing else, it's just a waste of time, just sitting there, just scrolling through just nonsense videos. I mean, yeah, sure, there's some TikTok videos that might keep you current on what's going on in the news, or it might show you some educational material. Did you know that? Did you know the honeybee? Blah blah blah. Yeah, you might get some videos like that on TikTok, but the vast majority of it is just it's just brain dead nonsense. It's people either arguing with other people or fights breaking out or pranks or what have you. I already went over all that, but anyway, I don't know, man. We'll just see what happens with this. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if ByteDance actually does end up selling TikTok, and then it could even be the very next day, 24 hours later, ByteDance might announce this brand new app. Jump over here, join our brand new app. It's more colorful, it's more beautiful, it's more addicting, more enticing than TikTok. Don't waste your time over there. Come over here. And I bet a lot of Americans will, especially if it looks nice and flashy and colorful and fun. I think a lot of people will jump ship and they'll go over to this other app. Not sure if ByteDance will be able to have any legal standing on it over the long run, but we'll just have to see. But anyway, that's all I got for right now. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.